make you want to headbang, sing, and airplay along with them. Metalheads, welcome to Graphic Metal, where metal is celebrated with design in mind. This is one of a 9-part series in which I give you the best albums of 2023 broken down by the different subgenres of both rock and metal, with this specific episode focusing on prog, or more specifically, progressive rock or metal, jam, folk, or quite frankly, anything with a strong conceptual story. To be crystal clear, this is a personal preference list for entertainment and educational purposes, only with the intent to celebrate and support each of these amazing bands and the rock and metal community as a whole. If you choose to comment, please respect me, each other, and the bands. And if you end up liking any of them, please find a way to support them. The rating system in which I use to evaluate these albums account for the music, the production, and the concept. Each of the metrics are measured, tallied up, and given an overall score, the graphic metal score. It is also worth remembering these are albums, not songs, but albums. So with that, strap on in, let's get to it. Number 10, Breathing Space by Hackberry, a graphic metal score of 85. Despite the length in songs, we're talking 10 to 16 minutes a pop, they keep you, the listener, entertained throughout with adventurous soundscapes, variety, and emotion, while at the same time wowing you with their smooth interplay, chemistry, and just overall technical skill. Because of this, it's the Storm is Brewing album of 2023. Only their second disc from this 5-piece instrumental prog metal band forming in 2015, coming via Groningen, Netherlands. I would recommend them for background music when you're working in particular, and for fans of Pelican, Russian Circles, Liquid Tension Experiment, and Dream Theater. Number 9. Every Sound Has a Color in the Valley of Night. Part 1 by Night Versus, graphic metal score of 86. You can throw shapes into the mix. Every time I heard this, I kept seeing colored shapes floating in the darkness and forming to create imaginative visual soundscapes. It's a seamless blend of beauty, inventiveness, and distorted rhythms, or distorted reality. Even adding glitchy-like guitar sounds that almost sound like they're from a computer rather than a guitar. This time around, they skipped the vocals entirely, minus a few AI, voice from time to time. For a djenti prog metal band, which is getting a little stale at the moment. This one felt fresh, exciting to listen to. Found myself actually even preferring this over Periphery because of this, and no need to overthink this one given the already great title. I'm just going to call this one The Color in the Night album of 2023. It's their fourth album. It's a three-piece band from Fullerton, California. And it's for fans of Animals as Leaders, ISIS, Tool, and Periphery. Anxious to hear part 2, which is actually coming out in just a few months. Number 8, Hymns for Hungry Spirits, Volume 2, Grafikmetal score of 88. Shifting to a focus on bass and keyboards, we have album 3 and part 2 of a band coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. It may be nothing, but it certainly is a great, wide, cinematic prog rock sound with emphasis on synth, melody, and introspective thinking. Also worth noting, a little different from other albums on this list because of the almost punk-like upbeat melody, structural delivery. Plus, okay, stay with me on this one. Picture yourself as a kid from the early 90s. You're sitting on the couch, you got your Sour Patch Kids you're eating, and a can of Ecto Cooler. With watching your Saturday morning cartoon program, when all of a sudden that infamous yellow star rainbow swipes across the black screen. This is the More You Know album of 2023. It's dreamy, light, and pure, but yet at the same time it still is prog rock, so it's still demandingly complex, keeps your mind thoroughly engaged throughout. It will not be for everybody, but definitely for fans of Neil Morse. Here is to the Hungry Spirits. Number 7, Terror Management Theory by Temic, a Grafikmetal score of 89. It's the latest supergroup poised and ready to take prog to new heights, molding old and new techniques in one musical book. On the surface, you hear what sounds like prog from the second big wave in the early 90s, but they also layer in modern djent, electronic, and emo-ish like melodies that make it feel a little bit more current. Reminds me a lot of Pain of Salvation meets Leprous. The story, as told by them, is keyboardist Diego Tejeda, ex-Hacken and now at Devin Townsend, along with guitarist Eric Gillette, who was with the band, the Neil Morris Band. They were touring together for Mike Portnoy's Shattered Fortress. That's how they met. And they instantly hit it off. This is the Dharma Initiative album of 2023 because their logo, album title, and their overall mystery in sound and lyrics, it really made me think of the TV show Lost. The chemistry of Diego and Eric, along with just the raw, intense energy that this band is able to capture, is the star of the show. Number 6, Primate Bayagusa, Grafikmetal score of 90. We're going to shift gears a little bit, take a swim into the lake of jazzy jam, psychedelic prog meets classical rock in the vein of Santana, Caravan, Jethro Tull, and Allman Brothers. Instantly takes you back 50 years ago, rocking out with your socks on a shaggy carpet with the lava lamp in the corner and string lights dangling in your room. If you love musical soundscape storytelling and just good time, soulful vibes, there is no better album to listen to than this one from Malmo, Sweden, with this being their fifth and arguably best output up to this point. If you can match Caravan, one of my all-time favorite bands, you're okay in my book. In fact, to pay tribute to them and the fact that Primate really does capture the essence, the energy, and the vibe in Deadly Similarities, I'm going to call this one the Caravan, not Caravan album of 2023. Here is to the mighty flute. May it shine brightly in your hearts and your ears. Number 5, Opus by Nussbaum. Grafikmetal score of 92. Holy bananazoid. Who says only Dream Theater can pull off story prog? Also, where the hell did these guys come from? Yes, I know from Charlotte, North Carolina, but who the hell are these guys? Did they not get the memo that you're not supposed to be able to pull off a scenes from a memory like album on their freaking debut? Even crazier is how fresh off the press these gents are, literally forming in 2023, showing up, appearing on the map in the same very year, and releasing their debut with their bassist acting as their sound engineer and producer. Story prog is, in my opinion, the tip of the iceberg, because you can hear technical prowess, endless variety, and an immaculate story along with it. The legends are all over this thing. Dream Theater, Devin Townsend, Hacken, and Spock's Beard. Each of the four members already showing the level, chemistry, and individual skill of those bands mentioned. Philip Rach, start there, the vocalist, can only be described as Mike Patton or Devin Townsend with his sheer range. Already offering the band something that most prog bands lack, which is a great vocalist with complete range. We already talked about Phil, who not only then is the sound engineer for the band, but also, the one of two keyboardists and just a killer bassist. Absolutely loving James Nelson's inventive and playful guitar licks, and Paul Wood rounding them up on the drums that just always seem relevant. I want to call this one the Awaken from Our Dreams album of 2023, and no question has to be listened to for fans of Dream Theater, Devin Townsend, and Hacken. We don't know where the hell you came from, Nussbaum, but we're damn glad you are here and cannot wait for what you have planned next. Number 4, Endless Blue by Deadly Carnage, Grafikmetal score of 93. The majestic melodies, angelic harmonies, and brute strength this disc showcases is from another world. It's like the perfect harmonious relationship between a masculine man and a feminine woman. It also sounds so incredibly natural, inviting, and filled with memories to share. It brings the Urashima Taros and other Japanese folklore stories that the concept album is based on to life with such honor. It makes you ponder which did it better. Endless Blue is an immersive as any story has ever been told. Flawless cohesion flowing effortlessly from beginning, middle, and end. Grandiose in every way, and yet doesn't even breach the 40-minute mark. I call it the Braveheart album of 2023 because this one nearly got me to shed a tear. Something that has only happened a handful of times ever in my life. One of them being when watching the film Braveheart. It's album number 5 for this band coming out of Rimini, Emilia Romagna, Italy. Its warm and inviting nature could be contributed, quite frankly, to the use of valve amps, natural pickups, and uncompromising use of analog at all costs. Not to mention the use of unconventional instruments like eru, lute, mandolin, and bazooka, and the perfectly executed insertion of like timely soundscapes embedded throughout that are mostly like nature driven, like ocean birds and whales sound. The cover art also should be commended and perfectly represents the thematic beauty this album and sound has to offer. Number 3, The Fox and the Bird by OK Goodnight, a Grafikmetal score of 93. If music could speak, it would sound just like this. Sadness, grief, confusion, anger, joy, peacefulness, and every other emotion is on full display and in good hands. The Fox and the Bird is a concept album about animals and myths telling the tale of a drought-stricken land where two friends, the fox and the bird, go on a quest to bring back the rain. Poetic, daring, and emotional. Each member, they all met actually studying at Berklee College of Music. They're fantastic at their craft, and actually because of their story, they have the same origin story as Dream Theater, so there's some similarities there. Their gift to all of us, already so early on in their career, is their ability to engineer soundscapes. This album really does make you feel like you are the fox or the bird or some of these other animals. You're meeting these Mother Nature creatures in the wild. None of this would be possible, though, without singer Casey Williams. And I'll throw in adding Elizabeth Hull, who makes in some guest appearances. Both of them allows this band to go wherever their imagination takes them. And also major bonus points for telling a story you would not normally hear in just heavy music, and therefore it felt fresh, which leads me to my last point. Do not be fooled by the beauty and its story. This group of friends, they can play heavy music with the best. This was the Animals That Walk Among Us album of 2023. Okay, good night. Number 2, The Songs and Tales of Eroia by the Chronicles of Father Robin, Grafikmetal score of 93. Here lies the unicorn in the Elysian forest of Eroia. Look, no surprise here, but I love vintage classic rock, folk, prog, psych. And who doesn't geek out on larger than life tales, mythology, fantasy, and adventure, let alone when it's brought to life accompanied by sound? This might be the most ambitious of them all. It's book one of at least 3 from the Songs and Tales of Eroia. The character and story of Father Robin, in many ways, it appears, is a manifestation of the friendship between its members. As they indicate, Father Robin embodies all the members, their challenges, their experiences that they had throughout their life. It may have taken 30 years to come to life, but it was well worth it. And because of that, this is it's not the destination, but the journey that matters album of 2023. What I also commend them for, and it's a huge part of what this channel is all about, is recognizing the power of branding, design, storytelling. The ability to connect with your audience is key if you want to separate yourself from the crowd, to keep them engaged, coming back, and just in general elevating your craft to another level. These gents did just that. They came together, had a vision, created a concept, and even had the smarts to recognize the importance and value of capturing the vision also in a visual way. So they worked together with an illustrator to make that happen. I'm not going to list off all of you, but I do want to thank each of you personally for being a beacon of light and following your creative hearts and putting in the work. And in return, it allowed you to shine the brightest you could together as a collective unit. Cannot wait for book 3 to come out in actually just a few days. Well, we're here. It's honorable mention time before unveiling that elusive number 1 in the Sea of Prog. Right, by Fall of the Albatross, Grafikmetal score of 85. Really strong instrumental prog metal that just missed the cusp. Honestly, between Hackberry, this one, and Night versus, it was tough. All 3 were really strong in completely different ways. ID.Entity by Riverside, Grafikmetal score of 84. One of the best prog rock metal bands out there who tirelessly always look to improve themselves. Degent is not a genre by Periphery, Grafikmetal score of 85. What do you want me to say about this one? I know most of you are shocked that it didn't make my list. I guess you can just say, chalk it up to, I have yet to be truly sold by Degent. This is one of those bands I always listen to once, twice, but I just don't find myself coming back to that much. Shadow of Tout by Tout. Only an EP, so it couldn't muster its way on the list, but this was a really unique and interesting collection of sounds by brainchild Greg Stevens. It's something I'm going to keep an eye out for him because it was really, really intriguing stuff. But now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The number one prog rock or metal album of 2023 is... Number 1, Obsidian by Scorched Moon. Grafikmetal score of 93. Just like with Prog itself, you have to be willing to take a risk. I did not see this one coming. Just like imagining the moon scorched, it blinded me at impact. As mentioned, we were blessed with a lot of really strong prog albums in 2023. I had my list done, locked, and was ready to go. Unexpectedly, my ears stumbled across this hidden gem, and my list forever changed. Is it the most talented of the band's albums on this list? I'm not sure. But this one just really, really spoke to me. Everything I want in a prog album. Dangerous sounding riffs, interstellar, expansive tonal rhythms, variety of emotions on full display, delivered in an epic, thematic storytelling way. Not to mention melodic singing with catchy harmonies, and they just make you want to headbang, sing, and airplay along with them. I'm going to call this one the Beacon in the Darkness album of 2023 because its greatest asset is its ability to capture equally eerie, dark, and scary, but yet blissfully free, delightful, and inspirational music at the same time. It's their debut album coming via Atlanta, Georgia. They make their influences in Arion, Coheed and Cambria, Rush, and Dream Theater proud. This sci-fi concept is beautiful in every possible way. From an entirely obscure, independent band, which makes the adventure even that much more fulfilling. I really hope, at least musically, that they get the attention that they deserve. And that was the list. Now you have 8 more episodes for each of the different subgenres best of lists to check out. The links to them, along with the playlist for this one, can be found in the description below. Soon, I will be releasing all my newly created designs to pay tribute to each of these amazing albums and bands. So keep a lookout for them. Until the next time, keep on rocking. Cheers.